Do you guys remember when Reign used to be fun? When it used to be a show that, despite being a CW love triangle-y fest based in historical presence but still trying to do its own thing, it managed to be fun, entertaining, girl positive. It used to do all of those things. And now the show that we've gotten is just a mess. A poorly written historical fiction mess that we are now stuck with, and I really don't know how we're gonna start fixing it. I have spent the past half an hour trying to get through the episode Wedlock of Reign, and while I only have about 10 minutes left, I felt like I had seen enough that I just wanted to get this review and recap of Reign. When Reign began, it was very clear that this was a show that was trying to be much lighter than The Tudors. And let's be clear, The Tudors is not a paradigm of historical accuracy. I mean, it managed to kill off the, matriarch of both Jane and Mary, Queen of Scots, in one fell swoop in the first season. I'm not going to sit here and say that The Tudors was great in terms of historical accuracy, but what it was good at doing was maintaining interest and managing to infuse the actual historical fact with the human drama that was going on. And I feel like it's something that Reign has just failed to do ever since the middle of season 2 when the rape happened. And I've already talked about that briefly in another video. Ian Kane is just killing it. She's an amazing actress. The acting is overall great, but I just feel like the show does not trust the audience to be dedicated to Mary the way they dedicated to Henry VIII. Because I know a lot of people, when Anne Boleyn and Henry VIII and the Tudors, when that relationship ended, a lot of people jumped ship because they didn't like Jane Seymour and all kinds of stupid reasons, which I think is not what a show should be about. These historical shows should not be about one relationship. It's about telling the journey of the lead. In that case, it was Henry VIII and going through all of his wives. In this case, it's Mary going through her journey to become Queen of Scotland within her own right. And right now, we're kind of stuck. Because all of the best characters and most interesting characters are in France, if Mary leaves France, we're going to lose Megan Fellows, who she's the one character that I really care about. We'll lose Bash. We'll lose Leith. We'll lose Claude. We'll lose all the characters that we spent 2.5 seasons really genuinely investing on to meet new people and do a whole new environment. But yet, that is what the show needs. What I think is important now is that the relationships, the romantic relationships, is such a forefront that it forgot that Mary came here with her group of girls, and they together were going on this journey to find their way in life. If they keep those relationships going strong, it won't matter that Mary will be leaving from France to go back to Scotland because she'll have that group of friends. But because everything has splintered out for the sake of drama for all their individual storylines, we don't have that unity. There is no one else that will go with Mary besides, at this point, maybe Greer. Kenna is probably gone now. I haven't heard Caitlin Stacey in any promo or anything because I follow her on Instagram, so I would know. Lola's character is around, but she's tied to Narcisse now, and because they made her relationship with Francis, they have that son, whatever the hell his name is. There are so many other things that could keep them in France. So it's just so much harder to have Mary leave and go to Scotland. But that's where her story needs to go. Mary's historical storyline does not start to get really interesting until she goes home to Scotland. So the longer we stay in France, the longer we meander, the longer it will take for Mary to reach her full political potential as a character. All the bad historical mistakes that they have made throughout the series are certainly coming together. Like, all the chickens are coming home to roost because the situation with Condé was its own sort of fuckery, and then that kind of made a damper on the remainder that we had of Francis and Mary's relationship. And now we are moving on to the relationships between Mary and the spy that Elizabeth sent to go spy on her. I think his name is Gideon, which to me is just another bit of filler, because why aren't we just going to Dudley? Mary is going to be married 2 more times, one by manipulation, another time by force. Why aren't we just focusing on those storylines and allowing Mary to develop and allowing her story to grow? Why are we pigeonholing her in the exact same narratives over and over again? Like, where is this Gideon storyline gonna go? It is just a waste of time. Just like Condé. Just like Don Carlos. These are not going anywhere. They are 2-episode arcs that are unsatisfactory because the general audience, who even doesn't know Mary Queen of Scots, knows she's not going to be here. They know that she's going to end up in jail, getting beheaded. They know that she needs to go back to Scotland. They know that she's not marrying any of these people. So why are we keeping on these storylines? They are not adding to anything. They are just holding everything back because they want to stay in France. I love the France team. If they had done what I had to do and just take Megan Fells and just make her be Elizabeth, you know, just let her do both roles, I would have been fine with it. We could have kept her along, but we can't. And we can no longer stay in both realms. This whole split thing that they're doing between England and France is also just not working. Rachel Skarsgård, I enjoyed her in Lost Girl as Tamsin, even though I don't like Tamsin at all. And, you know, she's bad in Birds of Prey. In this show, she has probably the worst written Elizabeth I have seen in a very, very long time. She is so whiny, so pathetic, so inept at what she's doing. And I am not the biggest Elizabeth Tudor person. You know, she's not the historical figure that grips at my heart. Her story does not interest me on that level, but I do know stuff about her because the characters that I do like in that time period rotate around her and are compared to her. So I know how Elizabeth Tudor, at least from what I've read, should be. And her whining and her relationship with Robert Dudley are two of the most aggravating things I am seeing in this show concerning her. Why is she on Dudley's cock so hard? Please. Like, everything that's going on with her being pregnant, and mind you, I've only seen up to episode of Wedlock. I did not see the episode that aired today, on this date. I did not see it yet, so which technically when this comes out would have been yesterday. I did not see that episode, so maybe they fixed something. But her relationship with Dudley is pathetic. They are ignoring all this that Elizabeth Tudor said. Like, she was never going to marry Dudley. She was never going to marry anybody because of what happened with Catherine Howard. They are pretty much removing all of Elizabeth's characteristics as who she was, as someone who was both cold and loving and had very complex relationships with the men in her life and really wanted to rule independently and had to use her wits her entire life to survive, and putting her into this melodrama and ignoring the fact that Elizabeth was too smart for this shit. She would not have gotten pregnant with Dudley's child. You have to understand, at this point, they would be checking her every time her monthly should be coming around, unless she could find a way to fake it with like a poultice. But they would have been checking her who's going into her bedroom. They would be checking her monthlies. They'd be checking her health. If she's vomiting and all this kind of stuff, the people would know. She would not be able to hide it. You could not hide your monthlies, okay? Not in this time period. Not when you're ruling as an independent queen and everyone wants to know if you're a whore or not. The daughter of Anne Boleyn, they would be checking her monthlies. She would not be getting pregnant. And she certainly would not be trying to marry Dudley if she was pregnant. She'd be trying to get rid of that shit. Knock it off. I don't think history has been particularly kind or affectionate towards Amy Dudley because she's sort of seen as in the way between Robert and Elizabeth's romance and that kind of historical melodrama that people will turn their story into. Amy Dudley was either murdered, committed suicide, or it was an accident. They decided to go with that she was crazy, committed suicide because her husband was going to leave her to marry Elizabeth, which no one was going to allow to happen. I'm sorry. They were not going to let Robert Dudley marry Elizabeth. They just weren't going to. It's just not going to happen. But anyway, so they have her acting completely disturbed and flinging herself off a stairway. Just to make us be like, that bitch Amy, trying to ruin Elizabeth love. Who cares about Elizabeth? Who watching Reign right now cares about Elizabeth and her storyline? Please tell me, because I don't understand how you could be into it. We know what's going to happen. All of this is a waste of our time and our intelligence. We are not going to be fooled by a fake pregnancy. I mean, I don't even know how it sums up, but I'm sure she gets rid of it or something happens or she miscarries because this is not going to happen. This is the issue when you have a historically based show. You have to work with what actually happened and make it interesting. I mean, if you're going to go into the assumption that maybe somehow Elizabeth I got pregnant, but you make her be like, we're just going to get married and everything's going to be perfect. We just love each other. It's going to be so great. That's the best you can come up with. It's just melodrama on top of melodrama. And I know it's a CW. I get that. But you did better before. Why are you going to this now? And then, of course, all the romantic side plots are just kind of accumulating more and more. To me, nothing. I mean, we have Lola and Narcisse. That ended up going to shit as soon as they got together. Catherine and her boy toy, who cares? Mary and Gideon, not gonna be a thing. You know, Claude and Leith are the only couple I legitimately care about on this show now, which is so weird to me because I didn't even like Claude when she first appeared. But, like, in this episode when she, like, smiled at Leith when she kissed him, I was like, y'all are adorbs. I'm with it now. Like, it's great. Kenna is gone, and Bash is doing this whole thing with Delphine, and every time Bash comes on the screen, I just feel myself kind of going along, because he is the most boring character and biggest waste of space on this show right now. Every time, his storylines are a waste of screen time. A lot of events in Reign that they've already done are based on things that will eventually happen to the characters. So in a sense, they've jumped their wad a little bit. We've already had Mary's rape being pushed up to the previous season. The slaughtering of Protestants was moved up to last season as well. These are all things that would, if the series goes on and decides to do a split France, England, Scotland story arc, are things that are going to come up again. So we're either going to have Mary being raped again, or having Mary's rape be whitewashed so that she's not raped. We're going to either have the Huguenots being slaughtered again, or having that completely misaligned. We're going to have a lot of characters that are going to go through these giant traumatic things not happening because we haven't set up the pieces yet. I think what's very important to understand about religion in this time period is that religion was not just about faith. It was absolute. You know what I mean? It was involved in who you were politically, emotionally, psychologically. It was your everything. It was your essence. Even people like Elizabeth, who were, you know, Protestants who didn't actively hate Catholics, we're not pro-Catholic. Catholics still died under Elizabeth, you know what I mean? Like, and people who were Catholic and were still doing it right, like, it doesn't matter if you want to believe what you believe, still didn't like Elizabeth either because they believed that their religion was right. Absolutely. So this whole, we're just going to always compromise, this doesn't matter for Protestant or Catholic thing that they're trying to do in Reign, that cannot exist in this time period where religion is the seedbed of so much conflict between all these countries. The conflict between Protestants and Catholics in Scotland is so important that we have to understand what that means. We have to understand that these are people who very much believe absolutely in their faith being right, and that these people are ungodly because they don't believe in it. They've made Mary already very much, I don't care what you preach, which is what she did say when she was in Scotland. I will mind it. That is perfectly fair. But they are also downsizing her own Catholicism as an exchange. I mean, this is a woman who died, who is a Catholic martyr. So that's completely being ignored. And just the complexities of what religion meant in this time period. And I know this is a CW show. They don't want to really go that way. But this is important to this universe because this is what bred a lot of these conflicts. This is what matters. This is why Mary trying to marry a Spanish person is so important, because the Catholic Spanish army was everything at this point. Like, that would have saved her so much issue. Like, if she had married Spain, half of the issues in her life that happened after she got married to Darnley would be erased, because she wouldn't be fucking with Spain. You know what I mean? It just, everything that is supposed to be happening and make sense is just not there. Once it was made clear that Francis was gonna die, even though I liked him, I was alright with it because I'm like, okay, Mary will get her time to shine. But now it just seems that they want her to be this powerful figure, but they want her to be a powerful figure in a place where she can still be this romantic lead. And I just feel like at this point, it's time for us to really just let Mary be the Queen of Scots. Not, you know, the Dowager Queen. Let her go be Queen of Scots. Let her have her son. Let her have her narrative. There is plenty of drama, action, sex, violence, political intrigue that is awaiting Mary in the next part of her life. Let's get to there. Because what we have here is the hottest of hot messes. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Let me know what you thought below. Are you enjoying Reign? Do you think the historical accuracy in Reign is really fucking it over the way I do? If not, I'd like to hear your argument about that. So next week I will not be having an update because I am working on a series of videos that are going to be put out during February. I'm going to be putting out a video every week during the month of February that's going to have like a Black History Month theme to it. as well as something really special coming up for Valentine's Day. So they're going to be bigger, slightly bigger projects, a little bit more interactive media and a little bit more better editing and use of my camera. So I just needed a week off from just doing the regular updates to really do a really well-made, in-depth series of those 4. And hopefully everything I do then will be able to be carried on into the next couple of episodes. So thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. It makes my heart boom, boom, boom. And if there are any shows particularly that anyone wants me to start following or doing partial recaps of, just let me know. And on a side note, I have 2 articles that I've written for the Mary Sue, which I will also link to down below. I would love for you to check them out. They have been written in December, and one came out a couple weeks ago in January. And I was kind of feeling a little shy about it, but I just thought, you know, you guys are my peeps. So if anyone can give me good feedback on stuff, it would be you guys. So my articles are going to be linked down below. I'd love to hear what you guys say, share, like, and all that jazz. And I will see you in another week.